to have public access, so I comply. We are on record in the matter of Caleb DeBoer. This is case number 121-1273-DL. And we're here today to for a review hearing. I understand Caleb was before this court in December. And at that time, he pled guilty, but the court took that under advisement with the hope that Caleb would do really well on probation, do all the things he's expected to do, stay out of difficulty and repeating any of these past behaviors and problems, and follow the law and not engage this way with anybody. And then we'll have a review. I think it's 6 months out, so sometime in June. Is that right, Mr. Vanden Bosch?
It is set for June 16th, 2022, Your Honor.
At 8:30 in the morning. So this is kind of an interim step. This is an in-between step, Caleb, where we're going to review your progress and what areas you might need to work harder on and what areas you're doing really well on. And I'm hoping, and I did read Mr. Vanden Bosch's report, so I don't think he's asking that we stop this process and enter the plea. So that's a good thing. I'm going to hear a recommendation from him. Did you see a copy of the review summary that he wrote up, Caleb?
No, I didn't.
It was emailed to your dad. You saw it, Mr. DeBoer?
Yes, I did.
Okay. So you'll hear, Caleb, what Mr. Vanden Bosch has to say and his recommendations, and then I'm going to decide where we should go from here. Okay. Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
All right, great. Mr. Vanden Bosch, what is your, I did read your report, but it sounds like Caleb hasn't seen it, and we'd like to hear how he's been doing with these terms and conditions.
Thank you, Your Honor. And while he might not have seen a physical copy of it, him and I have discussed it as recently as yesterday when we met, and the week before at school as well. We talked about it in depth, what's expected, what he's doing well, what he needs to focus on. But I will go through it, certainly. He owes no money. There's no fees on a plea under advisement case. So that's a good thing. There's no issues with community service. He was not ordered to do community service. Occasionally it is ordered, but it was not in this case at all. He's attending Zeeland West High School primarily, where he's in the 9th grade. And Dad sent me his grades last week, and he is getting all passing grades except he was failing the math class at that time. So doing pretty well there. Behavior, they have their ups and downs. School's very aware of the issues, and he's been there for a long time, so they're familiar with Caleb. And like I said, there are definitely ups and downs. At one point earlier this year, he did have someone monitoring him when he comes to school in the morning. He has to sit in the office and stuff. So I let the school, handle the way they feel is appropriate and stuff, and what interventions they feel are necessary. The primary thing in these cases, obviously, is the START assessment and the recommendations. And the recommendations from the START assessment were, that he's got to do, his issues have to do with attitudes, emotions, recent behaviors, and the impaired ability to control each of these, because he's been diagnosed with fetal alcohol syndrome as well as ADHD. So they wanted him to learn about healthy relationships, improve his ability to express empathy, and learn emotional regulation techniques. I think at this point, after the first 3 months, I don't know that he's made a whole lot of progress. I think they're working with him on some good things. Caleb certainly has his ups and downs, and as recently as yesterday, I've asked him to really focus on this, not only for himself, but for his parents. I think it's important. Also, with his parents' concerns and my appreciation to the therapy staff that we have at this time, they did send the parents, they got him in for a brains assessment a couple weeks ago. So we're waiting on the results of that, and hopefully those results will be helpful, not only to the court for the rest of the time that we work with him, assuming it will be over in 3 months if he does well, but also for the parents who will continue to be his parents, well into the future, and the concerns they have. So we'll just wait and see what brains comes up with, based on that assessment that he went to and cooperated with. It was a 7 on the YLS, which was right at the being a low to a moderate risk So I don't know that at this point, he's probably reduced that much. I don't think it's gone up either. He's had no, as far as I know, any further contacts with the law. Things that could be considered probation violations if he was on probation yesterday probably came, or over the weekend probably came close, and we've talked about that at length. And once again, it kind of goes back to the empathy with Caleb for him to understand others' viewpoints as well as his, particularly his parents. I think that's really, really an important part, where if he could just get a little bit of grasp on that part and work on the anger management issues, I think we would see a lot more. Would we see him being perfect? I wouldn't expect him to be perfect, but I think we would certainly see a lot less reduced stress in the home environment, stuff with the parents. So we're going to continue to have him work on that with Ashley through the court until the next review hearing, which, like you had said, is set for June 16, 2022 at 8:30 in the morning with a referee. We'll also have an attorney present there just in case he has completed successfully the attorneys necessary to get the plea taken care of, withdrawn, and then the prosecutor does their thing and does a no lay on that charge, which would be the best case for Caleb. And that's why I want him to concentrate on these other things, because they're important for him, not only right now, but like I said, going into the future, and especially with that family relationship. I think that's all I have right now.
Okay. Thank you very much. Did
You're
you
welcome.
understand everything that Mr. Vandenbosch was reporting on there, Caleb?
Yes, ma'am. I did pull up the report while he was going through it so you could look at it.
Okay. So it sounds like, it sounds like we've got some good things going on, Caleb, that, we don't have any more behaviors that are law violations. You're not charged with anything more. That's critical. That would be a really serious problem. Sounds like you're doing pretty good at school. Math might need to, have some work on, but you're going to school, doing what you need to there. It's disappointing that you aren't as open to the counseling as we would like you to be. I think you could really view this as an opportunity. For one thing, you really have to take it seriously, because that's part of this plea under advisement. If you want to avoid having some pretty serious consequences from what your behaviors were, like more consequences, and getting this on your record and fines and dealing with, disposition on this, you need to take pretty seriously. This was an opportunity you were given in December, like to show, I don't need to have these charges. I don't need to be on probation. I don't need to be in detention. I don't need to have serious consequences resulting from this charge. I can show the court and yourself and your parents that you can do this. And counseling is one of those things. It's intended to help you. It's not just, a box that you check. Yes, I did counseling like I was supposed to. Yes, I did the assignments. It's actually supposed to help you be the person you want to be, like help you meet your future goals, help you, give you tools to make things easier for yourself. It's supposed to be a positive for you. So it's going to be, you're going to get out of it what you put into it. And if you do what they're asking you to do, you might be surprised how good it is for you, how much you can benefit from it. It's supposed to help you make the changes that you want to make in your life, and that you have to make if you don't want to have a big problem when you come back to court in June. Okay? So I would really encourage you not to squander that, not to let that opportunity go to waste, but really use it. Use that counseling for your purposes, to meet your goals that you want to accomplish. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
I think this brains assessment was on March 4th, and you haven't gotten a report back yet. Is that right, Mr. or
Yes.
Mr. Boyce?
Yeah, it's due this week or next week, I think.
Okay, so that might be really helpful. Really be open, Caleb. Be open to any feedback. Any solutions, any possible solutions. Okay, Did you understand everything Mr. Van den Bosch said? Do you have any questions about anything?
No.
Okay. Mr. DeBoer, how about you? Or Ms. DeBoer, how about you?
No, it makes sense to me. It's exactly what we want to, so.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened this weekend. Sounds like it wasn't very good. And it sounds like it's another thing that Caleb needs to work on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the counselor can help. Does your attorney want to say anything? He looks like he's asleep. I don't know if I'd pay somebody who's sleeping on the job like that.
When? When?
I think he's
tired.
we're getting our money's worth.
He's waving. He says hi.
Okay, I think you can keep your nickel. So in June,
Focus.
Caleb,
Yeah.
in June, you're going to be back here and you've got a lot of work to do between now and then, but I think you can do it. Sounds like you're capable of doing it. So Mr. Van den Bosch is here to help you when you're going to have struggles. You're going to not want to do certain things. And he's there to help you make sure that you're keeping yourself on track. Okay? All right. So we'll be back on June 16th. Is there anything else we need to address, Mr. Van den Bosch?
I don't believe so at this time around.
Okay. I did hear Mr. Van den Bosch said you actually got some of those pages done that were expected for the counseling. Is that right, Caleb?
20. I got 20.
That's great. That's great. I think the goal I read was 10 a week. Yeah. So, I'm sure it's not the funnest thing to do. There's things you'd probably rather be doing than doing those pages. But maybe if you give yourself a little reward after you get, each section done, you can make it a little bit more doable. Did you want to say anything else, Caleb?
No.
Okay. All right, we will set this then for the 16th. Do we just have a review order come out, Alan?
Yes, I did prepare one based
Okay.
on all the other orders that we do on plea under advisements. I think it should be good. So Heidi will take a look at it and make sure, but I think, and then of course she'll sign it and stuff, but I think it's like based on all the other ones, just kind of like we're at the halfway point. Hopefully things will continue to go well.
Okay. So really kick it in, Caleb. Show what you can do. You haven't yet. You've done a pretty good job, but I know you can do better. And I want you to be able to come in June and really shine. Okay.
But will I be in person?
I don't know. Probably Zoom hearings. Yeah. Are you meeting with Alan in person at all?
That's
Good.
That's
In
why
your
I'm failing
calendar.
That's why I'm failing geometry, because he pulled me out before a test.
Oh, it's all Alan's fault. You mean the teacher doesn't let
It
you
wasn't
take
your
your test?
only bad one.
Well,
Your teacher doesn't let you retake it?
no, he didn't let me.
Oh, Alan or your attorney can probably have a chat with the teacher and get that straightened out
I
because
think my attorney
Maybe
not
not.
gonna.
might be persuasive. Your attorney might be more persuasive than Alan, but I think Alan can probably help you talk to, so you shouldn't be that close to failing that one test pushes you over the edge, but.
I was at an A- and that one test just dropped.
You
What?
You got a quiz in there too. That's below.
Yeah, but but we'll find out because I took an exam today.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Ask for Alan's help.
He wants to pass. Don't ask for my help.
No, I don't mean help with the assignments. I mean
Okay.
help explaining to the teacher why the test was missed and getting that rescheduled.
If that's an issue, I'll address it when I see the school.
Yeah, that sounds like that should not be happening if that's what happened.
I suspect
you should
there's
get
some
another
other things
chance to
going
do
on.
that.
I'll
Yeah.
mention it to him, so.
Yeah, probably. But so good luck to you, Caleb. We'll be back in June, okay?
Yeah.
All right, thank you. We're adjourned.
Yeah.
Well, you could have said dog ate my homework or something. That'd be like,
He blamed you.
and I meet with him pretty much different times all the time. It's like, and yeah, his attorney was definitely sleeping on the job.
I don't know. It sounded like you might have needed an attorney to defend yourself there, Alan. He was.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I just got thrown under the bus myself, so, yeah, all right. I'll check with them, but I don't think I had much to do with that, so. They're really good about it, so, and I vary my times too, so it doesn't impact them, all the time at the same time, so.
Well, maybe instead of varying your times, maybe you can pick a class that tends to be like a
Yeah.
gimme study hall or something, or.
Well, and then the one I try not to impact is their lunch, of course, because I want them to have their lunch, and have some downtime and stuff, so.
Yeah.
I always
Can
try
you-
to avoid lunch period if possible, so.
Can they not take lunch and sit and talk to you while they eat?
I mean, they
Is that
can,
not
yeah, they can,
doable?
but,
I don't know.
if they, sometimes they
Better
can
than
have fun
failing
with
math.
stuff. And,
Okay.
So
I would.
I'm gonna sign off because I have to leave. So I'll push,
Okay.
I have an appointment at 4:30, but I'll push the last one through when I get home then.
Okay. Yep.
This one for him should be good, Heidi. I pulled it off of one of the kids we did in the last month or two.
This
Okay.
one, yes,
Review,
it looked
yeah.
perfect. I just, all I do is white out the dispositional review and just call it a review hearing. Yeah,
Exactly.
just shipped it, so it looked good, so.
Yep.
All right.
Okay, I'll see you guys in a few minutes.
McGraw's were really early, they were in on the 3 o'clock.
Oh, are they here already?
They
Yeah, they're
were,
here.
but, they're there
They're
now.
here.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
All right.
Bye, Heidi.
Well, I'll
Thank
leave.
you.
See you guys.
Let's just do it. I'll pull his stuff up and we'll stay right here. Yeah, you might as well go. Yeah. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll see you.
I'll see you Monday.
Monday morning, first thing. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, I think they came in like an hour early.
Oh, interesting. That dad always is wanting to make sure he's not late, or whatever. He's really been good about that in the past, so. You said they're here now or they're not?
They are, but I need to pull up their file
Yeah.
real quick.
Yeah, no problem.
So, if I have Jackson's up at this, or Caleb's up at the same time, it makes it too hard for me.
Yeah, especially when we're looking at screens and stuff, yeah.
Yes. So why are you on this one? This is was this an MDOP
Yes.
or were there, there's no, I thought you were doing primarily the CSC stuff, no?
Had this family plenty of times before, so yeah. So now they just get assigned to me whenever they come.
Okay,
Just it's kind of a perpetual thing.
okay. Yeah, how old is he? He had a consent in
He just turned-
2016.
He just turned 17 just last weekend.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
is he like credits for a senior?
We'll talk about that.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna go ahead and let him in. I've got this review in front of me. Now, we're doing dispo.
Dispositional review.
Oh,
120
dispositional.
days. We're at 120 days right now from dispo.
Oh, okay. I had this down as a disposition.
No, review.
Okay, that's why I can't find the petition. And
Yeah.
there isn't anything recent, so that's good.
No, there hasn't been anything for at least 6 months. No
Good.
law. Yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
Hello, you there?
Hi
Hello?
there. Are you able to hear me, Jackson?
Yep.
Okay, great.
Can you turn on your
Are
video?
you going to start video? I can send you a little prompt.
There.
There you go.
Good.
Okay. So is that your dad with you, Mr.
Yeah.
McGraw? Okay, great. We are on record in the matter of Jackson McGraw. This is case number 107-1675-DL. And I'm attorney referee Erin Magley. We have in the hearing Jackson with his father, Jackie McGraw. We have Alan Vandenbosch, the caseworker present. And we're here today on a review of Jackson's probation order. I've got the review summary that Mr. Vandenbosch prepared. Did you see a copy of that, Jackson?
No.
Okay, it was probably emailed to you.
All right.
Did you get a copy, Mr. McGraw?
I'll have to check my email. I wasn't
Okay.
aware I was supposed to get one. Yeah, me neither.
Did you email it, Mr. Vandenbosch? And did you also talk to Jackson about it?
Yes, Your Honor. I emailed it in accordance with the court rule, as well as we just talked about it this week. I've already met with him this week. So Jackson, remember what we talked about Monday
Yeah.
when I was there? I think it was Monday afternoon when I was at the house. Yes, we talked about it, what the court hearing would look like and my recommendations and stuff.
Yeah, so these review hearings might seem like a formality, Jackson, but they're really important. There are times for us to check in and make sure that you're on track and doing what you need to do. Everybody wants to see you successfully discharged from probation and meeting all the court requirements. And so these are really important piece of making sure that happens. And when your probation officer spends time drafting up these reports, it's not just for my benefit so that I know what's going on, but it also helps you stay on track. So he puts a lot of time and effort into summarizing that, and that kind of helps you understand where you're at and what you need to work on. Okay, so I'm going to hear a report from Mr. Vandenbosch. Sounds like he's already talked to you about his report, but he's going to summarize it for us and let us know what his recommendation is at this point. And then you'll have a chance, Jackson, to add anything that you want to add. And Mr. McGraw, I want to hear from you as well as to what you think about the different parts of progress and report here. Okay, Mr. Vandenbosch, go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. Yes, let's go over the review summary. So starting at the beginning, for fees, since Jackson was placed on probation, he was charged the crime victims assessment, reimbursement of service fee, state fee. Since it was a misdemeanor, there was no DNA required or anything like that. There were also attorney fees for the court-appointed attorney. Attorney fees have been paid in full. Jackson was ordered to pay $50 per month beginning on December 22 of 21. As of today's date, all payments have been made in accordance with that at $50 each. Jackson is employed. Jackson has paid that money, is my understanding. That has come from him. That leaves a balance of $325 on the reimbursement of service, which they're going to ask that if he is discharged today, which is the recommendation, we'll go through that, get to that point, that would be waived. There was a restitution ordered of $948.94, a significant amount of money payable to the city of Coopersville. There were multiple defendants in this case, and one of the defendants who was in the adult system actually paid the entire amount. That was one of their requirements as soon as they were placed on probation to pay that. I've confirmed that. So it's up to that person then to seek recompense from the other people involved, including Jackson. My understanding is that has not happened. However, the restitution has been paid in full, making the victim, the city of Coopersville in this case, restored to 200%. He's been placed on probation on November 22, had that MDOP charge. We've had the disposition hearing was held. That's not correct. I'm sorry. The dates are not exactly right. Anyway, this is 120 days for disposition. This is the first review. He was not ordered to do any community service in this case. The school is going to be the number one thing that we'll have to discuss. He was he was doing online in school. They sent him home to do that because of some occasional behavior issues, and he really just didn't seem like he wanted to be there, so they sent him home. Jackson initially was doing amazingly well with his online schooling. I believe he is classified as a junior. The last month or so, he has just not wanted to do his work. So he's turned 17 years old. I had a meeting with the school as recently as last week about the case. And the understanding of the school is if Jackson does not do schoolwork for 10 days, they will withdraw him from school. There are no legal ramifications. The ramifications to Jackson are he doesn't have a high school diploma at some point, which will negatively impact him going into the future, regardless if he gets a GED or not. It's always better to get a high school education. So we have talked about this at length, both Dad and Jackson and I. And I told him I'm not going to consequence him for not going to school at 17 years old. He is gainfully employed. He continues to be gainfully employed. He's earning money. Like I said, he's paid all of the fees at the rate that we requested at disposition. I have strongly encouraged him to go to school for the reasons stated, that I think it will be very difficult for him in the future to get even better employment and stuff like that. But there are also such things as natural consequences too. So we've talked about that. Once again, if he does no schoolwork for 10 days, the school will just naturally drop him. He'll fall off their rolls. And then at some point, he's going to have to pursue a GED if that's what he decides to do after he gets 18. So that's probably the biggest issue. He is getting some mental health counseling through Lisa Allard at North Kent Guidance. I have worked with Jackson before. I've also worked with one of his siblings. There's no mental health issues that run throughout the family. And I asked him to have somebody talk to him. He needs somebody to talk to. He has done that so far. They think that he needs possibly more help than they're able to give him. So they've supposedly set up with mom to get him a full assessment. I'm not sure if that's with Brains or who that's with. She did not give me details on who that's with. So whether I keep him or discharge him, I'm going to ask them to continue pursuing that, once again, for his benefit. He's been able to maintain employment. He stayed out of trouble for over 6 months now since he's had his last charge. There's been nothing on probation that would rise even to the level of probation violation in my estimation. So he's able to do well. But he does, I think some of the times when we have talks and stuff like that, he's definitely got ups and downs. Now, he doesn't want to take medications. I'm not somebody that prescribes medications, or anything like that. So whether that would help him or not, I'm not to say, but in the past, I know he has been prescribed medications and he just hasn't wanted to take them for various reasons. Let's see here. So basically, like I said, it's a tough case. He's not going to school. We know how important school is. He knows how important school is. He doesn't want to go to school. He's 17 years old. He wants to work, and he's been gainfully employed. So my thing with kids at that is 17. Now, if he was a little bit younger, it would be totally different. But kids at his age, I tell them how important it is. But if you're not going to school, I want you working. He's been working. He's maintained employment. He likes earning money. He's obviously, used some of it to pay off the court expenses as ordered. And I think based on all that, I'm going to ask for him to be discharged because, like I said, what is the end game here? But do I have concerns? Sure, I have concerns. I like Jackson. We've worked together now for, not in a continuous manner, thank goodness, but I've known him for the last probably 2 or 3 years for sure. And then I worked with one of his siblings too. So I was in the house at that point as well, and he's a neat kid. I think he's doing himself a disservice by not continuing school. I think at some point, like I said, the natural consequences are going to be pretty tough. But, once again, at 17 years old, a couple months ago, it was considered an adult for the legal system. That's changed for good reason, I believe. But like I said, I don't know. I'm still going to ask for him to be discharged. Like I said, based on, even though I've got concerns, certainly, but legally, he stayed out of trouble. He's capable of doing that. He certainly is. The mental health issues, that's a tough one. Mental health is certainly a tough issue. And I've tried to, point them in the right direction for that and stuff to get the help because there is help out there for that.
Okay, thank you. Yep, thanks. Jackson, what you want to address some of those things? I think Mr. Vandenbosch raises, some really legitimate concerns. Did you bring enough treats for everybody?
I just peeled an orange and started eating it.
Okay.
But
Making me jealous.
so for school, I used to I guess I was misunderstood and I did my work and then they want me to do it again. And like,
This is before you were taken out of the
yeah,
in-person?
yeah. Cause I would
Okay.
do it and then they'd just make me do it again. So
Okay,
I
that sounds
just
strange, like
wanted
that
to-
was happening multiple times.
I also didn't want to, yeah, it happens quite a bit. Also, I didn't want to be there because the grade average is too low for the school. It's like a C. It used to be an A. So, I mean,
What used to be an A?
the grade average of the school, I'm just going off of the grade average. It's not a good school.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You don't think the school is at the quality that
Yeah,
you
it's
would
not,
want to attend.
yeah, it's not
Hmm,
up to date or anything.
okay. Well, so how has that worked out for you?
It doesn't.
Yeah. You know, I don't know about those grade things. I think for schools,
I
they
mean,
might
I
be
try
based
as
on,
hard as
I think,
I
I don't know
can.
what they're based on. They might be based on legitimate things. They might be based on reviews. I don't know why it would go from A to C quickly, but I guess regardless of how it's ranked, there are certainly kids who attend, I know
Yeah,
this, and learn a lot.
yeah,
And I know they also at that school hand out diplomas.
yep,
Yep. And those are important. That's an important piece of paper. It sounds like Mr. Vandenbosch has talked to you at length about how important that is. I can't tell you. So I do child support hearings. So I hear from a lot of people who are struggling. Right now, the hiring market is good, right?
yeah,
Anybody can get a job and the jobs are paying pretty well. That
yeah,
is not always the situation, Jackson. You may be experiencing that the last year or two. But I remember not too many years ago, it was very hard to find a job. And minimum wage was, $9 an hour. And you couldn't find a job at minimum wage if you didn't have a high school diploma.
yeah. I
And
understand.
the economy goes up and down. And when I did those child support hearings, I heard from a lot of people who really regretted not positioning themselves to have the kind of life they wanted to have and earn the kind of income they wanted to earn. So much easier, Jackson, to do this when you're at your age.
Yeah,
If you think it's tough getting your high school diploma, it's a lot harder going back and trying to get your GED after it's all said and done and you're no longer at the age where it's
yeah.
easy for you to.
I was going to go back, but I got dropped out. So I don't know.
I think though, so what's encouraging to me is this. Mr. Vandenbosch said when you started the online, you did amazing.
Yeah,
So that tells me this is what makes it all the more sad and disappointing is you have the ability. There's stuff within you that can do this and can do it well. And I think the word was amazing. So that's really cool.
yeah,
It really stinks to see you blow it, to blow your potential because of making some choices that you might really regret later.
yeah.
And I totally get what you're saying about the meds. I don't know what you were prescribed before. I don't know if you I don't know if you should be on meds. I don't, if you have a concern about medications, so
I don't anymore.
meds can really help. It can help your focus, it can help your schoolwork, it can help you. If you have a concern about meds and you don't like them because of side effects or, all kinds of reasons,
Yeah,
that's something to have a real conversation about. You are 17 years old. You have the right to express your concerns. You have a right to hear what the doctor or prescribing therapist says about your concerns, and they should take your concerns seriously and help you. But then, as an almost adult, you also have some self-responsibility here to
Yep.
figure out okay, I'm going to express my concerns, but then I've got to listen to the answers and be involved in the discussion and actually make a really intelligent decision that's best for me. Because I am not going to order an 18-year-old to take meds. I might order a 17-year-old if I had really strong evidence from the doctor and the parents that it should happen.
Yeah.
I'd order you a 17. I'm not going to order an 18-year-old to take meds.
If I would want to be put on the wrong one.
Well, I totally agree. But if you're not even talking to professionals about it, you're not putting yourself in a good position to make a good decision about it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you try a med and you have to give it a good try, and then you can say, yeah, this isn't working for these reasons. And then they help you adjust it or try a different one. Like sometimes it takes a few tries. But to dust your hands off and say, I'm not doing meds because of this one past experience, that's not smart. You're closing the door to something a tool that might help you. And just because one doesn't help you doesn't mean another one won't. So I totally respect hesitancy about it and expressing concerns and having conversation. What I don't think is smart or healthy is just saying, no, I don't want to do that. I'm not going to even consider it. Because that doesn't really show that you're thinking through the pros and cons. You're not even listening to the professionals on it. So I don't know, that might be an area to explore that might help you. I'm glad you're doing the counseling. It sounds like there's some tools out there that could help you. I'm glad you did. Did you do the brains assessment yet?
No,
Not yet.
not yet.
Okay, do you have an appointment?
They're setting up an appointment for it.
At North Kent.
Okay. At North Kent is setting up the brains appointment?
Yes.
Okay.
Ain't that right? The mother's right here. Ain't that right, Laura?
No, they are gonna have him go through North Kent guidance. They do testing themselves because at brains, they don't accept his insurance.
Oh, okay. Well, that's disappointing. I know Brains does a good job. And North Kent, I'm sure does too. I have no idea. I just have experience with Brains. So yeah, participate in that assessment, Jackson.
Yeah.
Participating in the assessment is just you gathering information about yourself. This isn't going to be used against you. This is only possibly going to help you and give you information so that you can make good decisions.
Sure.
I am concerned. I share Alan's concerns. I see someone sitting before me who's 17 and has a lot of potential. And I am concerned that you are going to regret blowing that potential at this age down the road. I don't know anybody who's like, oh yeah, school is fun. I really love school. I want to do it all the time. Just like work, it comes and goes. There are good parts and bad parts.
I
But
wanted to go, been like not as hard for communication with the school and stuff.
kind of sounds like you didn't want to go because you thought they weren't a good enough school or something. I heard some shades of that in what you said.
Yeah, that is true, but I mean, people say I should get a high school diploma when I sometimes don't see a reason of getting one. And I also see reasons of getting one, I guess.
Yeah, I guess I don't see the reason you wouldn't get one.
Yeah.
The only thing that I've ever heard has been people regretting not getting one. I have never heard anyone say, I really didn't need that high school diploma.
Yeah. I've never heard anyone say that either.
Yeah. So I guess, and you actually might be surprised what you learn that actually is useful too. Not everything, right? But a lot of it makes you a smarter, better person.
Yeah.
Your brain is still developing until you're 26, actually.
Yeah.
And
totally.
yep. And now is your opportunity to really soak in and learn.
Yeah.
And if you blow that, or, I see kids who are using substances and then they're just blowing their opportunity. And it's really sad. And especially if someone, I'll go back to what I said before. Alan said you were doing really, really well, amazing at the online at first.
Yeah.
That is so awesome and hopeful.
Yeah, I
That
completed a class in 1 week.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I don't know, checking off those boxes, making that progress, that must have felt good.
Yeah.
And then not doing it must not feel so good. And
Yeah.
I would like you to get back to that accomplishment and that good feeling of being able to check off the boxes and plow through this. And I don't know where your mom live. I don't know what your whole situation is with other school opportunities, but this online thing is what you've got right now till the end of this school year, and it's what you've got to take advantage of.
I have until senior year to either find a new school or complete high school. So
Well, this is what is on your plate right now. And if you don't take it seriously, how many months are left of school? We've really only got like 3 months left?
Something
That,
something like
2.5? Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, that's like, finish strong, finish this. You
yeah.
let this sit and you don't do it, and you've wasted all the effort you put in up to this point.
Yeah.
When he
So-
was born, I was 50 years old. And I will be 67 here in August. And all the time I've been thinking, well, I live long enough to see him graduate from school, right? So I got 7 kids altogether. And
Is Jackson the
it's so
youngest?
close. It's so close for him to graduate. I was saying, okay, I only got so much longer and he'll graduate and I got to live to see it.
Yeah.
I still want him to graduate. If I have to get him to another school, I want to talk to the school and see what I can work out about him catching up on all this work and getting credit for it. I'm going to do something. I really want to see him graduate. It's really
Yeah.
important to me.
I think it's really important for Jackson. I think Jackson doesn't realize how important it is.
I told him how
Um,
important it is.
Also, Jackson, you got a real gift here in that whoever you engaged with on these picnic tables has already paid this off.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know why they did that. Okay.
Well, you could have been held responsible for the entire, it's almost $1,000 of damage.
Yeah.
You could have been held responsible for that entire amount. So I'm,
Yeah, I didn't even do anything. They all did it.
Here's the lesson to be learned. If you're there, and you don't do anything to stop somebody and you're participating, you can be charged with an accomplice, even if you don't actually take a knife in your hand and do any carving.
Yeah.
This lesson is when people are engaging in behaviors are wrong, your job is to get out of there and report it.
Okay.
Because you can be held fully responsible for all of those fees.
Yes.
Well, we're here today, Jackson, to decide whether or not you should remain on probation or be discharged from probation. And honestly, I think that Mr. Van Bosch can offer you a lot of support and value and guidance and encouragement and accountability. I think that if you aren't going to take advantage of that, if you aren't going to make the most of this, there may not be a point for you continuing on probation.
Yeah.
If you're not going to take school seriously, if you're going to ignore Alan's advice, if you're not going to participate in the counseling assessment, you're kind of making, I think what I hear Mr. Vandenbosch saying is you're making your bed and you're going to have to lie in it. And I don't want to see that. I don't think Alan wants to see it. It sounds like your dad doesn't want to see it. Your dad wants you to graduate. I don't think anybody wants to see you make bad choices and then have to lie in that messy bed.
Yeah.
I would, but if you tell me that you're not going to do anything and you want to be discharged from probation, you've got some fees and fines here that you'd have to pay off. But I think I would much rather have you finish the school year, do really well, and me waive the remaining fees and fines. I would be, I'd be so much happier with that result than you getting off of probation right now and paying all your fees and fines off. I'd rather have you get your fees and fines waived and finish school.
Oh, yeah. I just need to go to a school that isn't Coopersville.
Well, right now, I think you only have one choice, and that's the online stuff, right?
Yeah.
That's your choice for this school year. And you were
I mean,
able to
it
do it.
doesn't work. Like
Then you can look for
Huh.
next school year's options, right? You can look for different options for your senior year. But if you haven't, if you show the schools that you can do this online and you can get it done, then you're putting yourself in a lot better position to, have a school of choice, figure out a plan for a school. There are options that you can investigate. But just writing off a school because you don't think they're good enough doesn't set you up very well for success.
Not that I don't think they're good enough. They just don't teach me good enough. If I was being taught better, I probably wouldn't even be here. So
Well, I don't think Coopersville caused you to get in this legal problem that you have.
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying they don't have good teachers.
Okay, well,
like no one says anything good about any of the teachers. So
okay. Well, I'm going to go back to what I said a few minutes ago. And if I sound like a broken record, I apologize, but I
it's
think
okay.
maybe you forgot what I said. There are kids at Coopersville who learn a lot from their teachers and their classes. There are kids at Coopersville who go on to do great things from the education they got there. I'm not saying it's the best education in the world,
Yeah.
but I'm saying that it's better than sitting at home and not getting an education at all. And they hand out a piece of paper called a diploma to you if you meet the
Well, I
requirements.
wanted to go in person, but they don't want to let me go or something like that.
Sounds like they felt you didn't want to be there.
Well,
That's what it sounded like to me. And the things that you're saying kind of indicate that you kind of were just done with them.
they
So
were done with me.
I think, you're saying, I don't want to go to Coopersville, but right now what you have on your plate is online.
Yeah.
And you can kick it in and you can do your best with that. And then you can take a look at, well, is Coopersville a good option? I'd take any option I could to get a diploma, honestly. I wouldn't be picky. But if you want to be picky, you can look at all the options
Yeah.
and find a place where you think you might fit best into. But I am telling you, Coopersville is better than Nothingville.
Yeah.
I think you need Alan's support and guidance and accountability of probation to do this. And I think you can do it. I guess the question is, do you want to do it? What was that? I
mean,
didn't hear
was
you.
gonna do it even if I was on probation or not. Yeah, made it harder.
Yeah, I think it's harder without that probation. What do you dislike about probation? The curfew?
I don't. It's not that I don't dislike it. That's just, I don't know.
So
I'm 17. I don't need a
if-
babysitter.
Well, if we discharge you, Jackson, it's not going to be a successful discharge. If you stay on probation and do what you were doing before with the online, like I'm saying, I think we can have a successful discharge where I waive some fees and you feel like I did everything I was expected to do in the end. I worked on some things. I developed some tools. I'm a better person now, and it's
Yeah,
a
but I'm
successful
not-
discharge. Doesn't sound like you are with the online. So let me ask your parents. I'm glad your mom is there too. What do you understand Mr. Van den Bosch's recommendation? I have to make a decision today.
Yes, ma'am, we understand.
Okay.
I try to encourage Jackson. I tell him all the things in life. He's got a lot to look forward to, yeah. Even when he's 20 or 21 or 24 or 25, you know, every day he's gonna wake up, there's gonna be struggles and he's gonna have to deal with it every day. And you know, I'm hoping he does,
Whole computer taken in and,
you know, and
I
I
can't
really
hear
want
Ms.
him-
Menace. I can't hear his mom at all.
I was just saying that I need to bring his computer into school and have it fixed. Because he'll do a bunch of work and then he tries to hand it in and it'll say page unresponsive. Then he just loses everything he just did.
Oh, no, that's really frustrating.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you a question. Can you take a screen, since you know that might happen? Can you take a screenshot with
I
a
already
phone?
did, and they didn't do anything about it.
Okay,
It says page unresponsive.
but before it gets to page unresponsive, like as you're doing the
Before,
work,
it's me doing my work.
right? Can you take a picture of the work you did? Do you know what I'm saying? Is it like you're doing work online and you're accomplishing it, and then when you submit it, you get a page unresponsive? Like, so can
It'll
you,
be, like,
before you
middle
get
of
the page
doing it.
unresponsive,
I'll be middle of doing it. I'll get like a page unresponsive, have to do it again, and then it'll just do it again. Like,
Are
it's
you-
really annoying.
yeah, it would be
honestly.
very annoying. Are you
Yeah.
near, but it didn't seem to be a problem early on, right?
No, it's been like this. I think it's honestly my internet.
I was just gonna say, if it's your internet, then sometimes schools
It could be
actually,
the device they give me because they're outdated by like 10 years.
okay, so it could be that.
Products. I honestly could use my phone. It would be better.
Do you
And
have a
my
data
phone's
plan?
cheaper.
Jackson, do you have data on your phone?
Yeah.
Can you use your phone as a hotspot?
I mean, I was just gonna do my work either way.
Here's the
I have
thing, yeah,
nothing
but I
else
don't
to
want
do.
you to be frustrated doing your work and having that happen repeatedly. That's really frustrating.
I mean,
Like,
it's
let's
okay.
problem solve it. So let me give you some ideas. Libraries have computers that don't have those problems. You can get
Yeah.
online at a library. Probably don't want to go sit at a library all the time. I don't know about Coopersville Public Schools, but they may be able to, especially if you have an advocate, like a parent or Mr. Van den Bosch, if you're on probation, Mr. Van den Bosch can say, hey, this kid's got problems with the technology. Can we get a different device for him? I know Grand Rapids Public Schools actually hand out hotspots for kids to do schoolwork if their internet connection is not strong. You need to problem solve it and figure out, what's causing it to drop. Take a photo of it when it happens, before it happened. Like, you do some work, you write up something, take a picture of it. Then you do a little bit more work, take another picture of it. And so that you have a record of it that you can submit. But I wouldn't want to have to do that. I would want to solve the underlying problem, which is it the device or is it the internet? Can I use my phone as a hotspot? If it's the internet, can I get a hotspot from the school district? Get people to advocate for you, mom, dad, your probation officer, to figure it out. But my
So-
decision today has to be about what's the next step for you? And do you want the support for that step?
No,
Okay, I'm asking your parents what their opinions and thoughts on it are.
Yeah, I was gonna have him tested through North Kent Guidance because they offered it. And they do take his insurance. I wish he could go to Brain, but they don't take his insurance. And I'm gonna take his computer in and see if there's any updates or what they can do about it.
Okay. Do you think that continuing on probation is going to give Jackson the support he needs? What I would like to do is keep Jackson on probation until he shows that he can get back on track with the schooling. Until he gets the assessment done and we have a direction for that. I feel like there's loose ends here and that Mr. Vanden Bosch has some good things, the court has some good things to offer Jackson as far as support. But if Jackson is going to not take it seriously and not accept the help, there's only so much we can do to help somebody. What's that?
I said I don't need help at
Well,
all.
the reports,
Jackson's
the
going-
report that I heard indicates that that you're not making the best choices for yourself right now.
No, I am.
Okay, so I'm talking to your parents about what their thoughts are on it. And I'm pretty clear on what your thoughts are, Jackson.
I just want him, if that's the way he feels, I just want to let him have his way. He'll find out in life. I think I'm just barking up the wrong tree. I want him to graduate. I want everything from my son, but apparently he does not want to have anything to do with school anymore for some reason. I don't know why. I tell him, people that go to school because they want to learn. The people don't want to go to school, don't want to learn.
It's been the same system since like 100 years ago. I'm not participating in it. It's too old.
Ms. Menace, what is your position?
I'm just gonna try to get a hold of school and try to figure out what we can do about, like you mentioned, a hot spot that the school will provide, something like that, or bringing his computer in, seeing if it needs an update. He does participate well in his counseling, and I do believe he likes counselors, so.
Okay, that's great. That's I have heard a lot of positive things about Jackson. But I am very concerned about his lack of interest in following up on things that I think are really critical.
Well, I'm
For him.
already really smart. I don't know why I need to go to school. It's like trying to like teach a fish to climb a tree. I don't want to go to school if I'm already smarter than all the teachers there.
You know, that principal told me he was one of the smartest kids in that school. I was real proud of that when I heard that.
So here's the thing. You can be proud of a child who's smart, but when
Because
they
again,
do,
no one will ever have my like intelligence like again, because I'm the only me. So I'm gonna just use that and not go to work or whatever.
yeah, so
Um,
I'm not questioning your intelligence, but the things you're saying right now, Jackson, don't show a lot of maturity or wisdom.
I'm very wise.
So what I'm hearing from you is actually not reflective of,
I'm very reflective.
and no, I'm not saying you're not reflective. I'm saying what you're saying does not reflect a lot of understanding of what I just spent a lot of time talking to you about.
I heard everything you said.
It
I
doesn't,
understood it.
hearing and understanding are different. And it
Well,
seems
I
like it
heard
all
it
went,
into my head. I understood it. So
yeah, it seems like it like,
I don't know. I guess I have different values than most people. I don't know.
so someone with high intelligence would be able to assess their options and make the best choices for themselves. And
Yep.
I'm not hearing that, that you are able to do that right now.
Okay. Well, then I
Um,
don't know what to tell you. Like, I just want to get off of probation.
yeah,
Like-
I've been pretty clear. I've heard that from you.
Yeah.
So I've got to just find out if we want to finish this hearing, which I think we all want this hearing to
I
be
mean,
able to be finished.
we'll finish it.
So before I can finish the hearing, I need to hear from your mom. She's telling me what she's going to do, but she's not telling me what she thinks is best for you as far as the probation terms and conditions.
I just want to keep him in counseling and get the testing done for the most part to help him with the things he needs to help with his mind and keep concentrating on things and do things that I know he can do.
Okay. And I appreciate that. I think that's good that he keeps working with the counselor. But what I'm asking you is, what do you think we should do about the probation?
I think he would be fine without it, to tell you the truth. I
Okay.
just gotta get him back on track at school, so.
Well, it sounds like he doesn't want to go to school. Like, you'd be wasting your time. He thinks he's the smartest person in the room, and doesn't need school. So that reflects really how little of the world Jackson understands.
Yep.
So it doesn't sound like he wants to engage in that.
No, I want to go to school.
Yeah, I'm not buying it, Jackson. So, Mr. Van Bosch, what do you want to do about these fees and fines? What's your
They're
proposal there?
he has paid, my understanding is out of the money he's earned, the money has been paid toward what's owed. They're asking for waiver based on financial hardship, which I definitely know there's financial hardship in the family if the court was willing to do that. If he is discharged today, obviously that's something that has to be resolved one way or the other. But like I said, having worked with the family on multiple occasions and stuff, there's no doubt that there's financial hardship. Like I said, Jackson is working part-time. He continues to be employed and stuff, but yeah,
Where are you working, Jackson?
Little Caesars.
Okay. How many hours a week?
Like 10 plus.
Oh, well,
Yeah, 12 probably.
they mostly work them on the weekends.
It depends, because sometimes they let me go early.
Okay. So we don't have a lot of payments that have been made. You were supposed to pay $50 a month. But it looks like you must have paid for 3 months. And then your parents paid the attorney fees, right?
Yeah.
Does that sound about right? And he hasn't done any community service. Is that right, Mr. Van Bosch?
no, that was not earned.
Okay. Well, if Jackson were to stay on probation, as I said, I would be much more inclined if this was a successful discharge to waive fees. This is not a successful discharge. So I'm inclined he can either pay the full amount and get discharged from probation, or he can stay on and make a couple months worth of payments, and then we can consider discharge. But I'm not going to take a
You can
juvenile.
just pay the full amount.
What's that?
You can just pay the full amount.
I thought there was hardship on doing that.
Okay.
If he's capable of doing that, then I guess he can
Yeah,
do
we can
that.
pay the full amount.
Right now, Dave.
Okay.
Can I ask how much the total is on that?
The remaining balance, Laura, should be, if I've done my math correctly, $325 for the reimbursement of services, total of 475 has been credited to that, so 325.
325, okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yep.
Interesting. Yep.
We'll get it paid right here after the meeting. We're gonna pay it off.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I really like to have successful discharges, but I want to wish you luck, Jackson. I think that
Yep,
maybe
you too.
after you maybe do a little bit of thinking or talking to your counselor or reflectiveness on your choices, I'm hoping you can kind of reevaluate things, maybe a little
Yeah.
more maturity and rethink the decisions that you're making, because I do see that you have a lot of potential, but I also am really concerned that you are you're not recognizing all of your options right now, and how you're kind of hurting yourself in the long run. But you know, there's only so much we can do and offer someone. And so if you're not willing to take what we're offering and utilize it to your advantage, I'm not sure it serves much purpose to have Mr. Van Bosch continue to spend his time and spin his wheels on it. So
Yeah.
Mr. Van Bosch, do you want to enter that order after those fees are paid? Get that accomplished, and then we'll enter the order. Okay.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah, that's unfortunate because I agree with you. I would love to see that money go to something that would really benefit Jackson instead of to fees and fines. But I just don't feel good about discharging and waiving without any effort on his part to meet those minimum requirements that we expected. Yeah. Okay. All right. Anything else we need to address before I adjourn?
I'm sorry, ma'am. It's just that I don't see Jackson. He don't want to go to school no more. And I don't want to wake up with a headache. I don't want him going to school and having the school call me, tell me to come and get him because he's acting out. I just figured I'd save everybody a lot of trouble and time. I would love
You
to
know,
see it.
we can
Right.
probably just hope, just because Jackson's making this choice now doesn't mean that he can't make a different choice in 6 months. He can.
I know that.
He can. It'll be hard. It'll be a little bit harder, and it'll get harder and harder as each year passes. But he, with parental support and an internal, more, maybe a little more maturity and understanding, he can make different choices down the road. And so, but he does need, you know, parental guidance, consequences, and support for all of those things. So let's hope that this assessment gives you maybe some information that could help you decide on next steps. Because I wish only the best for Jackson. I see that he has a lot that he can offer, but I also see there's really some, you know, some underlying things there that he probably needs to work through before he can maximize his potential. Okay. All right.
Or his brother
Thank
wants
you.
to come and get him and take him up to Belgium. His older brother, he's got a wife and 2 children. They got a bunch of land and property. I want him to take Jackson up there and try to talk to him and teach him a few things. You know, he's got older brothers and sisters. They're in their 40s, and 30s.
Okay. Well, maybe some of them can talk sense to him because he doesn't seem to want to hear it from anybody else.
I
I
got
don't know.
one son. My one son's a chef. The other one, he's some kind of tractor with, contractor with drywall and stuff. And my daughter, she just stays home because she's unable to work, and she got a
Okay.
little boy, but they all do good. They could have done better if they would have had high school graduates and stuff like that, but they do good.
So maybe they can give some perspective to Jackson.
Well, yeah.
That would, I'm sure they love him and they want him to be the best he can be. And they can maybe give him some insight too.
When
That's
I was younger, I used to
That's all we
contact-
really want, is for Jackson
Right,
to have the
right.
best life he can have and be productive and happy and healthy. I just don't know that a court order continuing is going to help him do that if he's this resistant to it, unfortunately. Okay, thank you. We're
You're
done.
welcome, ma'am. Have a
Yeah.
good day. Bye, home safe.
Was that